Hello everyone, welcome to Dad Life Chess. This is Luke. It's been a while since I posted here on the channel. In fact, I checked this morning. I think it's been almost 9 months since I recorded anything for the channel. But Joel invited me back and I decided for 2023 to start recording some longer training games again. I took a little break last year, not because I was busy, but because I hit a little bit of a rut on chess.com. Tilted a bit in the blitz category, decided to take a break. And I feel like this is probably a healthier entry point back into chess again. So the goal is to record these 10-minute or longer games, rapid games on chess.com over the next months. And I'm going to try to record every game that I play to try to get a record and history of these games over time. That means you're probably going to see some ugly losses in here. That's just the way that it's going to go. Some blunders. Hopefully we'll try to learn from those just like we would from the wins. But we'll start today by jumping in here on chess.com and see what we can get for a game. All right, we're playing J. Koros. 1703. Yeah, so this is probably one of my least favorite openings to play against. I've been experimenting recently with the Chebanenko Slav. I have a chessable course. Oh, interesting. That's not a move that I've covered yet. Doesn't really concern me too much. The big issue is always wondering whether or not they're going to take and dealing with all the madness over here. The Chebanenko Slav basically has an early a6 at some point, typically after the knight comes to c3. Just avoiding any shenanigans on the b5 square, but this one doesn't really concern me. I know typically don't bring out the bishop if this bishop hasn't found a home yet. So I'm feeling like I want to go here. Those are the two, I think, most natural places. Yeah, so we have this. Now in this case, this move doesn't make any sense because I'm already restricting his play here. I don't remember this early push. I'm sure it's a normal move, but I don't think I've gotten it very often. So I'm just trying to decide if there's something that I should be doing here. Queen out here. He's gonna unpin with his bishop. Probably I should just develop naturally here. I have a lot of bad habits from Bold and Blitz. Not surprising. And the main bad habit that I have, I think I should have played h6 here. Yeah, to preserve my bishop, but that's not happening. All right. And one of the bad habits that I have is playing quickly, of course. Another bad habit that I have is I actually play some pretty bad lines on the openings that I use because in Bold and Blitz it doesn't matter as much. So what that means practically is that I have to unlearn some bad habits on my openings, which is part of what these games will be doing for me. And I need to take more time here. I'm actually already down a minute and a half, but I definitely should have caught the h6 there in order to preserve my bishop, but it's kind of late now. I actually think I can already play this. Takes. And then this pawn is weak. I'm going to play this first. I'm risking, I don't think he's going to play this. Yeah, I don't think. I'm not going to wait any longer. Wow, it's really interesting. So, e4. He's going right back. Very unlikely I'm castling queenside now at this point. I could just leave the tension for a move and castle. I could take. Most likely takes back with the queen. Let's leave the tension for now. I'm going to castle kingside. I was just trying to see if there were any issues with even, sacrificing here to get an attack on the king side, but I think probably not something to worry about. All right, so this is where I've struggled in the past. I remember I need to talk less and move more, but I've struggled with finding plans at key points in the game. So he's threatening this. I guess I could force the issue by playing here. Push takes. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. So I think I'm going to play a6. Okay. All right, fun stuff. Let's see. I'd love to get my pieces more involved here. I have a weak pawn here, but no direct way to put pressure on it. Thinking about these two pawn pushes possibly. Keeping in mind this piece is coming over, and if I move this pawn, h5 then can become a problem. But I think here, let's say takes. Yeah, that's not really fun. This doesn't work, he's just probably going to push. I'm thinking I might be willing to sack an exchange here. Need to play more quickly. Sorry about that. I don't know if it's good or not, but it seems interesting. We're not going to allow the queen train, so I'm just figuring out where to go, probably here. He has this check here. I think I could just move. What I'm really after next is some kind of attack here. I guess he can just go here. No, because then I'll move my other knight. I'm angling for a fork on f4 on the bishop and his king. I'm trying to figure out how he can prevent it. He can definitely prevent it. I mean, here, for example. Well, no, not really. Yeah, because right now I'm currently on it. So I think Oh, of course, I already have it. Check. And then takes. Yeah. Because I'm so low on time, I will probably take with my queen. But I am down in exchange. So it's a tough one. Opponent's up 4 minutes on the clock, which also doesn't help. All right, so we have a weak pawn here. Maybe he's going to consider... No, that can't be good. I have check here. So let's go after this pawn. Oh, I gave the piece right back. What am I doing? Killing me. I'm keeping my knight just because it's trickier in these positions, but honestly, it's not good. Not good at all. Okay. Check. Here, he has no checks. I'm threatening. Actually, I think he can't defend. Yeah, he can't defend this pawn. This is not a strong game for me. It's for sure. But what can you do? Ooh, that might be mate. Don't go there. I need this escape square for my king. This is definitely not easy for my opponent. He gave up the pawns that were going to win him the game. Oh, and I just gave up a pawn. Or a piece. Oh. All right, so apparently we're just not taking free pieces. I can't tell if he's trolling me or if... I think he could probably even take here. Yeah. Actually, to show my endgame, my lack of endgame knowledge. I think this is how you play it, but to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think he needs to do this. Well, we can take a look at this. I'm pretty sure that was winning, but I could be wrong about that. All right, well, that was a very messy game for the first game recording in a while. Yeah, not great. And I'm seeing already just a little pop-up here on chess.com tells me I had a missed win. So I don't know what that was. Obviously, I had the blunder where I dropped the piece. So definitely some things to learn here. As we typically do on these, I'm going to look through the analysis first without the game review. And then just to identify a couple places to look at. So on the opening here, I think I'm going to turn off the evaluation here. Yeah. So I think this is all fine. I think probably here I'm going to find that a better move was going to be h6, just to keep that bishop. This is a good example of a blitz and bullet thing, bad habit. I generally valued open A or H file because in blitz and bullet, it's something you always have to pay attention to. There's always potential tactics down open files, so I never really minded that. In bold and blitz, I would often just castle opposite side whatever the open file was and try to look for tactics. So that's why I didn't probably immediately think about this, but I'm guessing that's going to be something that's pointed out. And then at this point, I think out of the opening, I would guess there's probably not a lot else that will be there that I want to look at. I think this push here was probably fine. And I was feeling really good at this point. I mean, I'm obviously getting pressure here. I think this is all okay. I also like doubled pawns like this. Again, this is not necessarily a bad habit, just a practical point. I like them because you can sacrifice one, or not sacrifice, but you can trade and then repair your structure with a forced pawn push like this. It didn't work out this game, but or it did work out. Sorry, here it worked out here. I decided to sack the exchange. Obviously, I'll look at that and see if that was the right move. I don't even think I really considered other options here. I guess I could just move my queen. I didn't really consider anything else here, but I guess moving my queen would be an option. We'll see. I I guess as long as I have this dark squared bishop, it's not a problem to let his bishop in here. So it's probably fine. But I'll look at that. He wants to trade his queen off at this point because I think then he's obviously better. And then here, I was angling for this fork with the combination of moves. I was trying to consider... Yeah, I was considering this move. And then after, when I was calculating, I thought I would just chase it here. But as it turns out, even without that move, I already have the fork because my queen is defending f4. I will look in the engine and see if perhaps it's worth it to take with my queen here. I'm not sure. I decided to take with my knight. I think this is completely winning here, and then I drop my piece. And of course, at that point, it's a little bit disappointing. Yeah, and then here I was down to 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and my opponent had a lot more time than I did, so I was probably not calculating things well here. I still feel pretty good about this position, though. I mean, I like my knight, especially if I can get to a square like this. So I thought it would be fine. Probably that was this was not a wise move. It was a one move tactic, just thinking he wouldn't move his king, which of course is very easy to do. So I'll look at that. Maybe that wasn't wise. Here he checks. I did not see this move, and I don't really see a good response to it. I can't take here because his queen is still on h3. I don't see any other option except for either to let him take it, and so I thought I'd at least get my knight to a good position here, to a good place on the board. Oh, I'm just seeing now. I have check. Check. Completely missed that in the game. Definitely a missed win there. All right, so perhaps this will be more painful than I thought. He's obviously winning here. My understanding of the way he should play this endgame is that he should be going after, like, let me see where it was here. Yeah, right there. He should be taking that pawn. He should be taking a6. Because then I can't really... The knights are terrible at stopping pawns like this. So I don't know why he didn't do that. He allows me to not only does he not take it, but then eventually I win the pawn, forcing him way over there to protect. I think at this point it's probably not a game I should win. This is a move he definitely missed. Completely missed the fact that there in this position he could just take my knight and also protect his rook. And then of course it's completely winning. But he sacks the piece, and then I think at this point we have a draw. Don't think I missed anything here. No. All right, well, we'll take a look at the game review and see if there's anything else that I missed specifically, and turn on the engine here. I think this should work. Make sure everything's displaying correctly. All right, so we got a draw. Yeah, so first thing I want to look at is here. So instead of... No, it looks like it's fine. It's fine. I think the mistake was here. So the engine wants me to go to g4 instead, forcing either the trade here or possibly a move like this. Let's see, what would be the top move? Oh, top move is just queen b3, going after this pawn. Yep, or queen c2, just getting out of the way. So it looks like I would have been able to preserve the piece there if I would have done that. I didn't do that. I backed it up. We're still roughly equal here, though. Okay, we have an inaccuracy here. Instead, the best move would have been b6. So I thought about this. They already want me to start going after this pawn chain with b6. Yeah, I did think about this for briefly, but I just thought it would be better to get developed first. But I guess this would have been, and then the same thing here. Probably they're going to say, oh, this is fine now. Okay. My pawn push e5 was good. a5. I saw this. I think I even highlighted this in the game, but I thought this was just bad. So if I play a5 here, I could just ignore it like I did in the game later, but definitely takes has got to be bad. So I would have to probably ignore it. Here, let me just play through this really quick. This is really good for me. Why is this really good for me? It seems like I'm giving him... Oh, wrong takes. Sorry. E takes D. Ah, okay. So I guess they just say leave it. I don't know. I guess this pawn is weak if he takes with the queen. That must be it. Yep, he can no longer take with the queen because this is very, very difficult to deal with. So if you have to take with the pawn, I think this is called the bathtub pawn formation. At least that's what I heard. Yeah, I did. I missed that. So I was worried about a5 because I thought that push was a problem, but apparently it's not. All right, so I thought about this for a little bit. I just thought I could get some pressure on the king side by locking a piece out of this square. I thought any piece on f3 was going to be more dangerous for me, so I wanted to prevent that, but it looks like a better move would have been rook fe8. Just preparing, I think, probably still to take here. Okay. Good. F pawn push is good. That's a mistake, which probably means I missed something. No, it wasn't. G5. Okay, good. It came later, G5 here, but that's the eventual goal, is to get G5 and then start to get pressure. All right, instead of knight d2, G6. I don't see the immediate benefit of that, but they're all roughly the same, so not a big deal here. Yeah, I thought about this for a while. I knew at the end of this line that I would be trading my rook for the bishop if I decided to do this. Obviously, if he doesn't take, it's a big problem. I knew he would take. I figured he would take back with the bishop. So I planned on sacking my rook. And apparently that's just not a good move. Instead of that, I should have... They still want g6, knight f6, back to where I was. I wanted to open up the rook on that file. That's why I moved my knight. So my plan here probably just wasn't sound, and I missed some better options. Once I allow that, it does look like the sacking the exchange is the best option. At least I get the pawn and the piece. But you can see here 1.5, 1.3. I don't know. The valuation is tipping in my favor. About a pawn. So not too bad. I don't want to trade queens. I just thought pressure down the file here had to be a good thing, but apparently there's a better move. What's the move? Knight df8. My guess is that we're angling for here. That's a long journey to be useful. I mean, it's useful once it gets there, but it seems like that's a long way to go. So instead I played rook AF8. Yeah, don't trade queens. Oh, okay, I missed something here as well. Bishop H4. Ah. Queen D6. No, here. No, not here. It is that one I said. Queen, knight df6. Okay, just basically holding the advantage. Nothing special here. What did my opponent have here that was so good? F4. F4, just locking everything down, I guess. Even preparing to possibly push again with the bishop now protecting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that move. Said he plays this check, which I kind of expected. Why is this a problem? Knight h5. Yeah, what I played in the game. Yeah. Because now we have the piece. Taking with the knight was best. I thought this was an obvious move to go after the pawn here, but instead they're wanting knight h g3 or g5. That also makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Rook a3. Probably preparing to even sack the exchange there in some cases. Yeah, it's on the list. King h1, or even just taking. Even though he can't even win the pawn back because my rook's on this here. I mean, your knight can go here though. It's fine. Yeah, I didn't see that, and I played the bishop. Again, I was just thinking about that weak pawn, and oh, and of course dropping the piece, which we already knew about. But the plan itself, I mean, it was obviously a blunder because of the piece here. But even without that, I think this is a stronger plan, is to get my knight in here. That is unfortunate. Okay, good. We have a good piece here. This is actually all fine until here. This is my one move plan, or two move plan. That obviously is not good. Instead, they're suggesting king h7. Just to get off the back rank so that we don't have any issues there. Wow, I gave all my advantage up here. What's so bad about this? Ah, f4. So probably just go. Why couldn't you go here? That's why. Okay, well, instead, chase the queen. We get to this position I mentioned before. That was a mistake. Instead, I should have taken. Okay. Say, he can't take. Yeah, he can. Make it with the rook. Then my knight goes here. No, my knight goes to e6. Sorry, e6. Oh, interesting. Blocking the queen's defense of h3. I mean, there's multiple moves here to defend it, but that is an interesting idea. Top move here, g3 or g2. g2 doesn't even protect the pawn. What is the problem with this? Queen f6, going after this pawn. Okay, well, I didn't play this. I moved my knight in. He found the right move. The exchange works for him. I think I didn't want to. I'm not surprised that it's a blunder not to take, but I really wanted to try to keep that piece at this point, and then I realized that I wasn't going to be able to. This is where I missed my mate in 2. Check. And mate. So that's unfortunate. I wish I would have seen that. He didn't. I didn't see it, so he plays rook b. By the way, what I was missing here, or what I was risking here, just to play through this line really quick, let's say I do something random, is we have the check, h5. I think I have to block. And then I lose the piece. Here, let me do something less random, because that obviously moving the pawn was a problem. Let's go here. Check, block, check. And then this, yeah, deflection. So I lose my queen. So I was worried about this, so I knew I figured I would need to trade. And then this surprisingly turned out well for me. I don't think it should have. I think he definitely misplayed this. I mean, it's +5, +6. Apparently that's an excellent move. Here he missed something really obvious. He missed the fork of these pieces. And once he missed that, he made another mistake, allowing me to play g5, which meant that he couldn't defend his pawn on the a file. And then I already mentioned the other thing that was missed here, is that he can just take, obviously can just take the knight, but he doesn't. All right, so what is the move here? I imagine the move here for him is g4. I was thinking about this after the game. Yeah, g4. He's got to get ahead of that pawn. As it stands, he doesn't want to allow me to get here. Once I get in front of the pawn, then we have the draw that happened in the game. So immediately a draw. Yeah. So once he plays f4 and I'm able to get ahead of that pawn, then at that point it's a draw. But I think if he just plays g4, he could pretty much just follow me almost. g5. It's a d5. This go here. If I just try to keep staying ahead, at some point we're going to. He's already ahead of the pawn, so he can lead it in basically, and I won't be able to stop it. So that was a mistake on my opponent's part. Would have made for a losing endgame for me. All in all, not great if I'm honest. Let's see what the actual breakdown is here. 2 blunders, 4 misses, 3 mistakes, 9 inaccuracies. Yikes. That is not a pretty game to start with, but you know, we said we were going to post all of them, so What can we do? It does say that I played at a 1721 rating, so I guess there's that. And my opponent played at a 1575 rating, so neither of us doing great, but at least I didn't do too badly there on the level. I think there's definitely some things to take away from me on this one. Number one, I definitely should have caught a couple of those blunders. Those are just really obvious blunders that, and not at the end. At the end, I was losing. Honestly, pulling away a win after I get to that end game is just, I'm happy to have the win. I was definitely losing there. There were some blunders there in time pressure, but the main one that I definitely should have caught was this. I had the right idea here, going for the fork and winning material, and then 2 moves later, or 3 moves later, I blundered that piece again. I was down to 3 minutes. My opponent had 7 minutes, so a little bit of time pressure. Maybe that's another lesson just to be aware of, is that I need to do a better job with my time managing my time. So a couple blunders I'm disappointed with. In general, I feel like I played this pretty well. Didn't miss anything too badly other than that blunder, and then not counting time pressure. And then I think probably the plan here, earlier, I definitely need to look more at these positions that I get like this. At this point here, I kind of just got impatient and I pushed F4. And I think that was my impatience and not having a plan. And I wanted a plan, and breaking through on F4 seemed like the plan. So I went with it. But as I'm looking at it now, and as I'm looking at the engine, I need to do better at pausing here. And this part of managing my time better is having the time to pause here and actually think of the best plan. Because all of the top moves for the engine are, relatively innocuous. Like, there's nothing about them that immediately is relevant for a tactic. So, something like G6, for example, or what else? Rook F7. Just trying to double on the file here. Those are obvious plan options, and those are things I've seen before, but I think I rushed into F4 because I wanted to have something concrete to do, and it was a mistake on my part, is trying to figure out the plan there in that middle game. So those are kind of the takeaway lessons for me. Not a pretty game, but I did say at the beginning I'll be posting all of them. That's the goal, at least, is to post wins, losses. I might occasionally play a game without recording, but I really do want to have a record. And mainly I want to keep myself accountable to take all the games seriously. And I know that if I start making exceptions, I'll start playing more quickly and playing without thinking and reviewing the game. So hopefully this was instructive, a little bit painful on my side, but hopefully it was instructive. If you're able to watch it, let us know in the comments, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already done that. And yeah, we'll do another video later in the week. Thanks for watching.